Let's turn now to a major story happening here in BC. Police are investigating an early morning blast at the North Vancouver office of a provincial cabinet minister. Our Mira Baines is on this story. Mira, what's the latest here?
Dan, police have had a very heavy presence outside the office of Bowinn Ma, an MLA from North Vancouver, who also happens to be the infrastructure minister. North Vancouver RCMP say people reported hearing two loud bangs last night, one around 2:30 a.m. and the other one around 4:15 a.m. So after the first bang, they went and checked and they didn't find any damage. But then after the second one, they did find some damage to the door of Bowinn Ma's constituency office in North Vancouver. And so they're investigating. They're looking into what happened, whether it was targeted or whether it was politically motivated. Take a listen to what RCMP had to say.
The office building does belong to an MLA's office, and we're in touch. Our investigators are in touch with her, Bowinn Ma's office. And so, again, that is something we're going to be looking at, see if this was specifically targeted at her office or was this in general. So we don't know.
Police are asking people with any CCTV footage or dash cam footage to come forward to police. But I wanted to ask you to listen to what people say they heard in the neighborhood overnight.
Definitely not something normal. It was really loud and it kind of just shook us. You know, we were in the middle of a sleep and we instantly got up.
Approximately 2:30, it sounded like a really loud bang, but it didn't sound like the trains. It sounded something more. It wasn't a car crash. It was like a big, it shook the house. So I only live a block away, so it was crazy.
So right now, RCMP are saying that they're treating these two bangs as separate incidents, but their serious crimes unit is investigating. But people in the community are quite shaken by this.
And understandably so, since early in the morning would have been so loud. And that's a busy street, West Esplanade and near Chesterfield, Esplanade, I should say. We also heard from the Premier. He had some strong words today, right?
That's right. And so did MLA Bowinn Ma. Now, another fact that I should mention is that she's also a new mother. And so this happening outside her office was particularly frightening. And so Bowinn Ma and her husband did mention to CBC News that they're reeling from this incident. She released a statement today and she said that all her meetings and appointments have been canceled. She said thankfully nobody was injured, but due to an active police investigation, she's not able to provide any more details. But BC Premier David Eby did speak to this incident.
There was an explosion in the door of her office, that it was deliberately set. We don't have any information about motive, but obviously this is profoundly concerning and troubling.
Some BC NDP officers for other MLAs are also closed today out of an abundance of caution.
Okay, Mira Baines, thanks very much. Now, for some more perspective on this, we're now joined by Ujjal Dosanjh. He is the former Premier of BC, former Attorney General, former Vancouver MP and Health Minister, and he joins us from Toronto. Ujjal, we appreciate your time. What went through your mind when you heard about what happened near Bowinn Ma's office?
Well, it's concerning that you have this kind of explosion or explosions, the office of a sitting MLA. It's rare in BC, but obviously it's happened before. And there's more and more violence in our society, and it's scary. And it is not the kind of Canada that, you know, when I came to Canada in 1968, it seemed so far away. It felt a lot more peaceful and a lot more, calm. And that's not the case anymore, obviously.
And now, when we say this has happened before, you had a similar situation outside your office a number of years ago. What can you share about that?
Well, it was the year 1999. I was the Attorney General, and somebody threw a Molotov cocktail into the office and damaged some computers and some other things and endangered the lives of tenants that lived upstairs. Because my office was on the ground floor on East 33rd and Victoria Drive. And it was scary. I wasn't the first one to hear about it. My constituency assistant, who was the contact listed on the emergency, he was the first one to hear about it. But it was scary. And we had our own feelings about who might have done it. You know, I've been fighting all kinds of battles all my life, and we had suspicions, but nobody was ever arrested or prosecuted for that offense.
You've also been an MP and the health minister I mentioned. Threats against MPs are up 800% in the last 5 years, and that's in a report by the House of Commons. What do you think needs to be done to perhaps better ensure the safety of politicians in Ottawa and at the provincial level?
Well, I think obviously, you know, they should all take precautions, but more importantly, I think that we all need to begin to speak up against this increase in number of threats and violence against public persons, people who are in politics, people who are ministers, people who are advocates, people who are social justice advocates or other kinds of advocates in society, not just the elected people. You know, I've had threats when I wasn't elected, and lots of threats and assault as a result of my advocacy of a particular point of view. And that has continued, and it's not acceptable in Canada. We are a wonderful place, a great country, and we should all make the effort to denounce these kinds of things very seriously and make sure that we can allow for peace and goodwill to prevail in this country.
When you talk about moving beyond just the threats against politicians and other public figures, BC, as you know, has seen a rise in high-profile violent incidents. The Lapu Lapu Day tragedy festival tragedy comes to mind. What action would you like to see either authorities or others take to prevent these incidents from happening, and then holding to account those who were found guilty if they are?
Well, obviously, you know, investigations and prosecutions are very, very important in these things, and stiffer sentences. But I think more important is to prevent these things from happening in the first place. Therefore, all politicians, all people in public life, whether elected or not, whether just, you know, activists or elected MLAs or MPs, I think we all need to sort of, one, conduct ourselves in ways that we don't aggravate the situation. Two, that we actually talk about Canada as being a very beautiful, tolerant place, caring place, that it has been for a long, long time, that we need to actually improve it now from what it has become.
Former Premier of BC and former Attorney General and former MP Ujjal Dosanjh, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.